Today we will discuss about the training types and methods. So in brief, you people are already aware about some of the fundamental common sense concept about the types of training. So basically it depends what exactly you need. Say for example, we talk about the knowledge skill. So when you are supposed to upgrade knowledge, then there is a different altogether different types of training. Whereas when you are supposed to develop skills, so it is more experimental in nature. So this cannot be possible in virtual mode. So that has to be in real mode. So when we talk about this types of training, so you look at that types of training, basically the categorization of the training, and the methods are the methods which are described under the particular types or particular category. So look at this when we talk about you are supposed to upgrade the knowledge. So upgrading knowledge may be primarily require informational or transmittal in knowledge. So you are just trying to transmit or provide information. So the nature of this type of training is informational. They use primarily one-way communication. One-way communication means the knowledge is delivered from source to receiver, and one-way communication in which information is transmitted to learner. Say for example, I am delivering a lecture. You are seeing a particular audio or video or any uh, you know video instructional package. You are studying something, or programmed instructions means sometime you have a video of instructions. This programmed instructions are very common in nowadays. Look at on airports, look at on safety, the hazardous processes. Look at for the different mechanism which is used for policing and other government departments, where you take entry and you see some video or something which is programmed, including the step by step instructions, and basically a video sort of thing, where you receive the information about the stages or steps which are already programmed. So maybe once you maybe sometime the computer programming may be in such a way that you achieve one stage, say the next step comes. So once you achieve second step, then third step comes. So maybe programmed one for instructions. And another method which is very experimental in nature is on the job training, where the learner interacts with instructor, computer or simulator, or other trainees to practice the skill. Now important thing is that skill upgradation. So when you are supposed to upgrade a skill, so say for example, I say that you need to get the knowledge of how a particular a product is manufactured. So you can very easily go to upgrade this knowledge. You'll open YouTube, you'll search for a particular product manufacturing process, you will see the audio visual, and in on the job training method you will come to know that yes, there are 6 7 steps to produce this particular product. But this is knowledge. But if someone says that you have to produce it, then you need to develop skill of, you know, doing all those 6 7 steps from first to seventh step. You need to do it, and you need to do it with a perfection. So perfection means, say for example, sharpening the knife. So the only skilled one can do it. And how to develop a skill? Yes, when you practice it. So that is why we say that practice the skill. So once you practice it, then you develop this skill. And that is why these cannot be possible in virtual mode. You cannot do it. You cannot upgrade knowledge in experimental manner. The very simple example is that an electrician who comes to your house to correct a, change a switch, or to lay the, electric line in your house, that person may not have information that why a particular three-way switch or two-way switch, or how this, why this, a particular type of 1 mm wire is required, or 1.5 mm wire is required, or for which appliance, or for in which room, what type of wire is required exactly. So the calculation methodology or the knowledge may not be very much clear to that electrician, but by practicing it, he might be having this knowledge that for AC equipments you need at least 1.5 mm of wire, or for this thickness of wire, or for this particular type of, equipments, you need 15 ampere socket, or you need 5 ampere socket. But this comes on the job. So while practicing skills, some knowledge you gain, but if you have to give complete knowledge to person, say for example, why one pin in 3-pin plug is longer than other two. So this information, this knowledge may not come from on the job. This knowledge is related to primarily with the information which can be on the job, means lectures. Through lectures you can get about the knowledge, and through on the job experiment you get, skill development. So some of the examples of this on the job training, as you can understand that one of the on the job training you people are already undergoing, internship. So what do you do in internship is basically on the job you are placed for one particular activity to perform, and while doing this activity in real time situation, you learn, you learn to upgrade your skill. It may be you learn to upgrade employee handling, you learn to handle customer handling, you learn to handle, senior handling, you learn to, you know you get the skill of, say for example, in marketing you get skill of selling. So you practice by, selling some products. When you are in HR, you are dealing with people. So different type of people you are dealing with, you come across, and then you learn that one mechanism is not sufficient or will not work in all type of people or employees. The apprenticeship. What is this apprenticeship? Apprenticeship is basically the hardcore, you know, technical training which is usually given at the, initial certificate level programs or diploma level programs. You will not see the apprenticeship in your degree level programs. Like ITI people, they go for apprenticeship. So apprenticeship is that on the job they practice something, they develop some skill, And then in apprenticeship, they sharpen that skill. That means they make that skill strong. So that is on the job. Say for example, a fitter. A fitter is working as apprentice or doing apprenticeship, gets real time exposure. One example which I come across is very common in our HBTU itself. When you go to visit library, you get there are so many apprentice library apprentice. The students are doing library apprenticeship, and that is of usually 1 year, and that is some nominal amount is also paid to them. So they are basically people, students who have done their diploma in library science or certificate course in library science, or usually the bachelors of library science, they are not given apprenticeship, diploma or certificate. So because they want to you know they want to learn this real time practice, cataloging a book. When a new book comes, how to catalog them, how to number them, how to stack them, how to classify them. So in real time, they get this apprenticeship. Coaching is basically is a procedure where the instructions related to a particular equipment, machine, or process is or are given to the candidate by the instructor, and the pro and cons of those instructions and your skill are being corrected on the spot. So you say that coaching basically, why this coaching? Because coaching is basically helping you to practice more and more. So real time situation, doing by yourself. It is not on the job means doing by yourself, you learn. Off the job means you learn by seeing or observing or receiving something. Job rotation. Say for example, you are working on in one department. Say for example, we talk about if you are an HR professional. So job rotation means earlier you were working in recruitment and selection section. Now you are changed to performance appraisal section, or you are changed to the IR section, or you are sent to salary and management section, or pension department. So once you are transferred from one department to other department, it gives you the skills of different activities or functions. So on the job training is very important for skill upgradation. On other hand, you want to develop the knowledge, gain knowledge, or increase knowledge. So you have them off the job trainings. Say for example, classroom lectures. We do in our MBA program, we give classroom lectures. We discuss case studies. Case studies means those studies may be the real examples or those may be virtual examples, but we are visualizing the real situation in form of case. So actually you are upgrading your knowledge by looking the issues, problems, and solutions, probable solutions. And those probable solutions are not in real time situation. Say for example, some problem comes, then it is very similar that when someone says that you have to solve a problem in real time situation on the spot, where the outcome or the result would be affecting your job performance and everything. Whereas in on off the job training, you study the case or problem, you suggest a method, and then that solution, if wrong, that may not affect your job, but you learn a lot of things over there. Likewise, you have vestibule training, you have simulation, computer modeling and simulation. Basically, what we talk about in simulation, the real time situation is created in studio or virtual situation. So, virtual situation means you have, say, for example, pilot training. So, pilot training starts from off the job. Virtual cockpit is there. Everything is very similar to real cockpit, and then training is given, and with the computer system or a simulation, the screen will show you very similar situation to the real time. When you will start, you will make takeoff, then you will make a study. So everything is in simulated form, virtual form. And that kind of training, first it is given off the job, then you are brought to the real on the job. So skill, first knowledge development, then skill development. So vestibule training, or this computer modeling or simulation, sensitivity training is basically a training which is given to people to sensitize the different belongings. Belongings means, say for example, you are working in HR. So how to deal with female employees. So sensitization towards female workers, co-workers, sensitization towards the machine handling, sensitization towards the organizational key issues. So you are given sensitivity training. So you are being sensitized, that you become sensitive towards those things. So behavioral training is given to be sensitive towards the people, towards the system. So basically, if you talk about broadly, so you will find that these type of trainings, there are many newer trainings which may be sometime on the job training or sometime off the job training. There are, say for example, when we talk about computer advanced language programming, it is mix of the training. Initially off the job you are given, then on the job. But in that case, that computer programming comes as a on the job training. Here we talk about modeling. Modeling simply means you develop a model in off the job, which is similar to real time model, and then you try to simulate just like in a virtual situation, considering that it is a real time. So what is important in developing that off the job training, you need to learn basically whether you need knowledge primarily, or you need to upgrade your skills. Now if you are upgrading your skills without knowledge, you know that you are actually in frontline profession. And when you are getting skills after complete knowledge, so you are upgrading not in front line but higher positions. Look at, when we talk about, I give you simple, very simple example of this on the job and off the job. Look at the ITI programs, you all know. They might be having some 20-30% of the classes and 70% of the labs. So you can understand that they have off the job as a 30% weightage, and on the job as a 70% weightage, or in some 80%, in some 65 or 60, something like that. And in some cases this is only 10%, and this is only or maximum 80-90%. So ITI fitter job. So maybe that the ITI centers, they have one lecture in a day, but rest 4 hours your on the job training on machine, lathe machine, or maybe computer, or whichever area you are entering into. So proportion is 20-80, 20% knowledge or 20% classroom and 80% lab. Result, the good employee or laborers are produced. Technicians, machinists, the frontline workers are produced. When you go for diploma programs, 3-year diploma programs, so your classroom would increase to roughly 40%, 50%, and your lab would, on the job lab or experiments, they would contribute to almost 50%. So 50-50, 40-60, something like. So you enter into foreman or supervision positions. That means above them your employee or technician class. But when you go for BTech programs, bachelor's program, so your on the job is just reverse to the ITI. This comes as a 20-30% only, and this classroom becomes lecture and all becomes 70%, because the more and more knowledge, logic, scientific bend of mind, and those things which make you professional, understand the process, develop logic and apply it. So learning, understanding, getting and then applying, so those things are there as a part of classroom teaching, and then 20-30% only laboratory, on the job. So you become executive or manager, or so you can say that skill development, if you own maximum focus skill development, means you are going for technicians, bottom level job. And when you are going for this, I'm not saying that off the job or on the job is something related to class of employees, officer or employee class. No, sometime in employee case you need to develop knowledge, so you are given simulation training, because you cannot bear the cost of loss or risk directly. You cannot bear the loss of or the cost of on the job training. Say for example your pilot training, so simulation means they try to minimize the cost, or you can say mistakes or damage. So they use simulation training. So it is not that every time when you focus. My point is that knowledge and practical, or knowledge, or you can say skills, they go along with. It is the proportion that decides where you fits very well. And accordingly, if you are going to give training to a technician, so moreover your focus should be on the job training. But it does not means that, say for example you are doing internship, it doesn't mean that you are you are going to become very good technician or employee. Internship is basically the knowledge that you get in classrooms, you need to practice it, and then you get skills, so you become a professional. Now that professional must have a skill. Say for example, you want to go in IT segment, so you need to develop some skill, maybe that coding skill or maybe programming skill. How to get it? Obviously, you can get through your off the job and on the job mixed type of training. So first you get the basic concept, and then you are given hand on practice to develop program or to develop codes and then execute it. So in that case it becomes very important to be very clear that what type of training is to be given to the employee and why. So to meet out the objective set together for upgradation of the knowledge or upgradation of the skills, you need to look at which method is suitable. Say for example, for professional programs, BTech or MBA or even BBA, there is an internship system, and it is mandatory part of your academic program. So this is required only to practice your knowledge what you get. And one question that I can simply put in, that the duration of this internship maybe 3 months, 2 months, or maybe 6 months. This depends how much time you need to develop your skill. Say for example, in some of the programs, internship is of 6 months, 1 year. Say for example, the medical profession. Whereas in your technical profession, maybe MBA or BTech, you have internship of 2 months. So think on that. Why? What is the scientific, reason behind this putting 2 months training or 6 months training or 1 year training sort of thing? And what type of skill you want to develop? That depends. That may be describing the length of this internship. There are many methods, other methods which are which might not be covered in this particular session. So I would suggest that you go through with training methods which are very specifically or exclusively described in, say for example, CV Memoria book. Describe it very very simple manner. So go through with that book, study it, get the insights of each methods in detail, and then come back.